Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're talking about 10 traits that I believe a multi-million-dollar potential stock market investor has to have. Now, that doesn't mean that if you don't have one of these traits, you're never going to be successful in the stock market and those kinds of things. These are just the 10 ideal traits that I would say if someone seriously, realistically has these 10 traits, I would say there's like a 95+% chance that you'll be a multi-millionaire in the stock market. But you have to have these 10 traits to be at that type of percentage. But like I said, if you don't have one of these traits, you can always work on these traits. And I mean, I've struggled with some of them over time, but mostly I've adapted and figured out I need to get in this type of process, because this type of process is what can help you be truly successful in the stock market, in my opinion. It's my opinion, and I respect anybody who has a different one at the same time, guys. So leave this video a thumbs up and let me know if you guys enjoy it. Let's get into this, guys. So number one trait by far, in my opinion, someone that has millionaire potential in the stock market, is you have to have high self-confidence in yourself when it comes to investing. High self-confidence. You cannot be the type of person and have the type of personality that is always second-guessing yourself when you go to make an investment. You can't go in there, make an investment, and be like, oh, was that really the right thing, and maybe I should sell, because that's what's gonna happen, guys. If you don't have high confidence, you're gonna end up selling before you should sell. You're gonna end up basically buying something when maybe you shouldn't buy something, because you're always going to be second guessing yourself because you don't have high self-confidence. You have to have very high confidence if you're going to be a successful stock market investor. A lot of negative things are going to be said about your stocks. You're going to have a lot of people coming at you a lot of ways. You're going to have a lot of people telling you you need to put your money in this stock rather than the stock you're in, and those kinds of things. You need to have high self-confidence in yourself that you're making the best decision possible. You are making the best decision, not somebody else making that decision for you. So if you don't have high self-confidence, it's going to be very, very hard for you to succeed in this game. I don't think I've ever known anybody to be successful in this game who doesn't have high self-confidence when it comes to investing, guys. So that's trait number one, by far the most important in my opinion. Trait number two is you got to have the ability to not get emotional when it comes to stocks. You have to kind of like separate yourself and just understand that a stock is a way for you to make money. Don't get too emotionally attached from that stock, because generally speaking, you're going to sell that stock at some point in time. Might be a few months from now, might be a few years from now, might be a decade from now, but at some point you and that stock are going to break up. That stock is not really meant for you to be together forever. I'll just be completely honest, guys. So you and that stock are going to break up at some point. You got to be emotionally prepared every time you go in there to understand that. So don't fall in love with it too much. Don't ever be at the point where you don't want to hear someone else's opinion on that. And I had to fight this for a lot of years, guys. If I saw somebody putting something negative about one of the stocks I own, I was like, oh, they don't know anything. They're so stupid, blah, blah, blah. And I get all offended and whatnot and type a message back to them and whatnot. Over the last few years, I just kind of like matured and just realized I might as well hear what they have to say. Maybe it is a crock of crap what they're saying, but still, at least I'm willing to hear it. I don't get offended. People all the time come on my channel and, talk about some of the stocks I own. Oh, you don't know anything, and you're an idiot for being in such and such stock. And that's fine, They want to, have their opinion, that's fine. I don't get offended over it like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't get emotional over it. It's just a way to make money, guys. So don't get emotional over your stocks. Number three, you've got to have the ability to keep learning. Keep learning. There's so much to learn in this game, guys. There's so much to learn. You're not going to learn it all in a few months. You're not going to learn it all in a year. There's so much to learn. It's literally like a never-ending process, and everything's cumulative when it comes to investing knowledge. You're going to learn stuff. I've learned stuff over the past few years that in my first few years of investing, I had no clue about. I've been doing this for 8-9 years now. And the things I've learned over time, I've learned probably more stuff over time on how to judge a stock, how to value a stock, all those kinds of things that, most people, I've probably forgotten more stuff than most people have any clue about. So you got to have the ability to keep learning and just always keep learning, always be I didn't even get into options and really understand how to hedge positions properly until I was probably already invested for 5-6 years, guys. Well, we're talking about a long time into the market before I really started to understand hedging a position, before I started understanding options and a lot of the more complex products and those kinds of things, guys. So that's a big key, is ability to keep learning and not just stall out and stop. You know, some people think, oh, I've learned everything. And no, you've never ever learned anything. Even me, I haven't even learned everything. I'm still learning things here and there, how to judge a company and the way Wall Street works, and you know, a lot of different things that I actually might go into in a video sometime. Anyways, number 4, work ethic. Work ethic, work ethic. This is a trait that not only for, you know, a stock market investor, but just if you want to be a millionaire or successful business owner or anything in life, you've got to have strong work ethic. Investing is a lot of work. It is really a lot of work. You got to be willing to put in those hours reading the 10K annual reports on the investor relations page of your company you're looking into. You got to be willing to read the 10Qs. You got to be willing to listen to conference calls. You got to really be passionate in the end, because otherwise you might not put in that work ethic. So you got to have very strong work ethic. If you don't want to put in the work, good luck if you haven't been a successful investor, guys. It's going to be very hard for you. I can just guarantee you, nothing in life comes easy. Some people think, oh man, that guy just made 10% on that money. He's got 100,000 in. He just made 10,000. It's so easy. Nothing in life is easy, guys. Now, maybe you can gamble on a stock or whatnot, put some money in, maybe get lucky. But over time, if you don't put in the work ethic, you're not going to be successful. I've never known anybody who hasn't put in the work ethic who got gains, honestly. They generally lose more money than they gain more money, guys. So got to put in the work ethic and really understand your stocks. Number 5, a vision for the future. You've got to have a vision for the future. If you can't really see out in the future and predict things, then it's going to be very hard for you to be successful once again. And some people, you know, kind of are like against a vision, and they just like are, oh, that company had a bad year last year, or they did this. Last year doesn't matter. What matters is next year, the year after, the next 5 years. That's what matters. So you've got to have a vision for the future. And that's another reason why I preach entrepreneurship on this video, on this channel. I try to do an entrepreneur video almost every week, because I want you guys to think like entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs, generally speaking, are always focused on what's the next thing. How can I build my business? How can I get my business to the next level? And it's an entrepreneur type mind you have to be successful at stocks. You have to have a vision for the future. If you can't see out a couple of years and see where the game's going, see where that puck's going, and you're stuck where the puck was, you know, if you're playing hockey, it's going to be hard for you. So you got to have a vision for the future. That's one that I don't know if you can like teach yourself to have a vision for the future. It might be one of those things people are just blessed with that trait or not. And it also might be something that you just have to be enough involved in the game that all of a sudden you can start developing a vision. I'm not really sure on how to develop that, guys, you know, and tell you a specific way. This is how you do that. It's one of those traits that honestly, you may just have it or you may not have it. And also if you're well encompassed and you understand all the points of view on a sector or an industry, that will help you immensely and have that great vision for the future. Number 6 here, guys. You got to have the ability to move on once you sell a position. Whether you sold that position for a 50% loss or 50% gain, you got to have the ability to move on. You got to, you know, once you sell that stock, it's over. You know, that doesn't mean you can't keep track of it in the future and whatnot, but it's over. It's all over at that point. You got to detach yourself. So if you had a great gain, you can't just keep, you know, pumping yourself up. Oh, I had a great gain on my last one. Woo! No, it's over. It's in the past. What matters now is what your next stock is. And if you sold it for a loss, you can't keep dwindling on that and thinking, oh, I'm such a failure. You know, you got to move on. I call it the NFL cornerback mentality. If you guys know the NFL and football and whatnot, I'm not talking about soccer. I'm talking about, you know, American football. A cornerback, they have to guard the wide receiver. A cornerback is probably the easiest position to look great on one play and then to look horrible on the next play. So NFL cornerbacks, they have to have a very short mentality. They have to forget the last play, because otherwise they might get burned again. They can't get all excited if they had an interception on the last drive, because they need to get in the mindset of, I could get burned on this very next play and look like an idiot. So I need to, you know, forget about whatever happened in the past, focus on what's about to happen now. So that's the same mentality you got to have in the stock market, guys, if you want to be a millionaire investor. Next one up here, guys, number 7, ability not to panic. A lot of stuff's going to happen with your stock. A lot of stuff's going to happen in the macro economy. You're going to always have the ability to not panic in a situation, to look at it from a fundamentals perspective and not think, oh my gosh, this is going on, I need to panic, I need to sell everything, I need to sell this stock, I need to do whatever. If that's the decision you made through the whole decision-making process you go through, that's fine. But don't just panic into mistakes. I've seen people lose so much money because they'll panic on a day the market will, because sometimes the market goes, lately the market's been okay, but I've witnessed so many times in my lifetime where the market will just be going down and down and down, and then all of a sudden it'll have a horrible day where it goes down like 4 or 5%, and people will sell out of their stocks and lose like $10,000, $20,000, and then the next week it comes right back, and they're like, oh, I just lost $10,000 or $20,000. What am I thinking? Why did I sell at that price? Because they panic. So you guys do not want to panic. You got to have the ability to be Joe Cool and, in hairy situations, whether it's a macro economy, whether it's something with your stocks. Look at it from a fundamental perspective. Does it make sense for you to sell? Does it make sense for you to buy? Don't just panic into a decision. Number 8 here, guys, you got to have the ability to know when to take a risk and when not to take a risk. So there's some situations where it's going to make sense for you to take a risk on a stock or invest a lot of money into a couple stocks and whatnot. Some people look at me and they say, Jeremy, you're a risky investor. You take risk. I absolutely do take risks. I invest in not a lot of stocks, I'll be honest. I generally have 5 stocks or less. Sometimes I'll be all in one stock. But I know when to take a risk and when not to take a risk. So that's something you've got to have that ability, because sometimes it makes sense to just be in like 1 or 2 stocks, I'll be honest, because something's such a good deal that sometimes it makes sense, but you've got to know what you're doing. You got to have a lot of experience. You got to have all these other traits I talked about, guys. Sometimes it absolutely does make sense. Sometimes it does not, and something might be a false flag and might look like, oh, I should take a big risk in the stock. I should put 80% of my portfolio, and really it's not. So you got to have the ability to be able to take a risk sometimes, and sometimes say, no, that's not worth me taking a risk. A perfect example is I track Fitbit. Fitbit's down to under $6 a share. I've been tracking it, since it was like $14 a share. And, I was kind of looking at 8 and 7. I was thinking, man, should I take that risk? And I didn't, and thank goodness I didn't. And now the stock's at 5. And even now I'm like, do I really want to take that risk in that stock? Does it make sense fundamentally? And I haven't. So you got to know when to take a risk and when not to take a risk, guys. Number 9 here, you got to have an understanding on different ways to make money in the stock market. So there's a lot of ways to make money in the stock market. A lot of people think just buying a stock is like the only way you can make money. No, you can also make money from short selling. You can also make money from day trading, things like that I don't do. You can maybe make money on penny stocks. I don't do that. I don't suggest anybody else do that. But there are strategies out there that people swear they can make money in it. That's fine. I've never seen it ever in my life, but more power to them if they can. You can buy long-term options on stocks. You can buy short-term options on stocks. You can buy put options on stocks, call options, short-term put options, medium-term put options. You can do so many different things that you can make money or lose money in the stock market, guys. So it's very important to understand all those different ways of making money, losing money, because sometimes it's very helpful to hedge a position. If you're very much in one stock or in a couple stocks, you might want to buy some short-term puts to cover and hedge your position. So really learn about all the different options out there, guys. I have options videos if that's a subject you want to know about. I probably have videos about short selling on this channel. I have like 300 videos. I've probably done a video on almost everything over the course of time. So, but also, research outside of this channel and really learn about all the different ways to make money in the stock market, because there's a lot of them, guys. Number 10, ability to put the shoe on the other foot and understand if everything can go wrong with that stock or that investment you're making or that short position or whatever you're doing. Ability to put the shoe on the other foot and see the other side of things. Okay, what if that company's product is successful? What if, my company does go bankrupt? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this big company, releases a product in my space, in my company space? You got to have the ability to put the shoe on the other foot and think about worst case scenarios. Just kind of so you're prepared going in for, what if this happened? Is this still a good investment? What if ABC happened? Say you're oh gosh, say you're a Walmart investor and you're investing in Walmart. You got to think, okay, what if Amazon beat us on price on every single thing, and then they started offering Amazon Prime for free? Would that completely kill our business? And what if they had the 1 hour delivery? Would that kill our business? You got to think about like all the worst case scenarios for whatever your stock is. For instance, watch stocks. Fossil and a lot of different Movado, a lot of those watch stocks back 2012, 2013. Anybody that was thinking about investing in a watch stock or was going to invest in a watch stock, you should have been thinking about, what if Apple comes out with a watch of their own? What if Samsung comes out with a watch and these new electronic watches take off? These new smart watches, what if they take off? What's that going to do to our business? You had to be thinking about those things. So think about worst case scenario whenever you're going to make an investment. That's something I haven't done well enough in my life, or in my investing career. There's been some situations I've been in where I did not think about, well, what if the worst case scenario actually happens? So that's something I'm trying to adapt and get a lot better at. And that's probably the trait I have the worst of right now out of all those traits. Number 10, that ability to think about worst case scenarios. So that's something I'm trying to get better at, and trying to think, what if the worst case scenario happened, guys? So excuse me. I hope you enjoyed these 10 traits. It's a long video. I need a drink of water. I hope you enjoyed these 10 traits today, guys, on how to be a millionaire investor in the stock market. Or, like I said, if you have these 10 traits, there's a very good chance you're going to be well off and you're going to get great gains if you truly have these 10 traits, guys. I cannot see why you would not have it, unless you just have a bad strategy about investing in stocks and those kinds of things, guys. So thank you for watching this today. If you just came across this and you have not subscribed yet, you may want to. We talk personal finance in the channel. We talk entrepreneurship on the channel. We talk the stock market the most in the channel. Follow me on Twitter. That link is in the description. That's the one and only other social media account I have. I'm trying to build that over the next month or so, because we have like 200 followers right now. It's really pathetic. And we have like 17,000 on this channel. So we got a long way to go on the Twitter account. So follow me on there. I am going to start probably live streaming once a week or something like that, and taking Q&A and those kinds of things, guys. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.